Democrats are not well right now. Nothing about what they're doing is working, and the numbers in terms of their approval rating is astoundingly low, but they do have one thing going for them, and it is big. Democrats have been playing the long game, and it is honestly starting to pay off. I'll show you why. This is probably the scariest graph I think I've ever seen. I'm a big numbers guy. I think that graphs and numbers tell a lot of stories, especially about politics in the United States. And I think this is the scariest one for what it says about our country. So I want to show it. I'm going to talk about how it happened. A lot of it is to be blamed on Democrats, but not all of it, as I'll talk about. So here it is. This is from 1960 to 2023. So it's contemporary data, and this is from the Census Bureau. And what you're seeing here is a graph, again, from 1960 to 2023. And if you're just listening, I'll describe it to you as well. It is all the demographics in terms of if they're married or not, and if they have kids or not. And you can see the shift, and it's astounding. So I'll start at the top, and then I'll kind of go down. The first category is kind of just the other category, and this, I think, includes people like with roommates and live with relatives. So we're not going to, it does double. The number goes from 8% of other to 16%, which is significant, but we're not going to talk about those as much. It's the other ones that I want to talk about. Single parents has almost doubled from 4.4% to 7.4%. Very bad. Single parents, I'm not saying they're bad people or anything. I have a single parent. My mom is a single parent. It's hard, but it's not the best for the kid. And so, again, we could talk about the causes of that. That one, though, is not the biggest. It doubling is not a good thing. People have talked about it at length. This next one is the truly astounding statistic that really scares me. Married parents, the fundamental unit of society. It used to be that 44.2% of U.S. adults were married parents. Today, that number is 17.9%, a reduction of almost 2/3, which is super scary. Single people with no kids has then increased from 13.1% to 29%, more than doubled. And then married people with no kids has basically stayed the same, almost no change. They got a little less, 0.7%. So you can see that pretty much what happened was married people with kids turned into single people with no kids, which is, again, very scary because I think, in my opinion, this is the result of two big movements. And one movement is a left-wing movement, and one is actually a right-wing movement. The left-wing movement, of course, is feminism, which, of course, teaches people that their worth, and women, that their worth comes from being in the office rather than being a mother. That's kind of the fundamental thing. And so when you see that, it's no surprise that they would stop being mothers, that there'd be less married people. And that's why you see the drop off in birth rates as well as the married couples with kids dropping off. But I think the right-wing movement, and this is something I want to talk about, I've talked about it a lot on this show, I think it's nearly as damaging. And it is the red pill movement. Many men are starting to buy into the lie that because the laws are stacked against their favor, which they are, I'm not denying that, the solution was not to fight back against those laws. The solution was to not get married and to abandon having kids. And that was a massive, massive mistake because what happened was single parenthood resulted in that. That's why you have deadbeat fathers who are leaving and mothers are forced to raise children on their own, which is diabolical. And that's one side of it. And we saw in the graph that number's doubled. And then on the other side of it, people are just choosing not to get married, not to have kids, because the red pill movement has taught men that their worth comes from their money. And if there's a small chance that instead of making their marriage work, that they would get divorced and they would lose half of their hard-earned money, it wasn't even worth getting married to begin with. And of course, not having kids as a result of that, because most people are smart enough to say that having kids when you're not married is not a good idea, myself included. The fundamental unit of society, I should say, is the family. The little platoons, like Edmund Burke said, and Edmund Burke really is the father of modern conservatism. The little platoons, we need them. It's like it's saying a cell cannot exist without the atoms that make it up. And that is what's happening in the United States today. Our society cannot exist without the families. Our whole society's gone, and that's what Democrats know, and they want it. In their new world, I really believe this, and I think you too. I know my audience does. I've talked to you guys a lot about it. In their new world, I think the nuclear family to them is a scourge, keeps them from doing whatever the heck they want, whether that comes from the P in LGBTQ and you know what I'm talking about. I can't say the word because YouTube will demonetize me, but you all know what I'm talking about. And politically speaking, as well, it keeps them from winning elections, as it turns out, when the nuclear family is strong. People who are married and have kids are conservative and they vote Republican. Look at the data. It is, if you want to talk about all the demographic split ups, that's the biggest one. People talk about men and women a lot. A lot of women are trending liberal. A lot of men are trending more conservative. It turns out conservative women who have families, they vote Republican lots. And they become more conservative when they have families. My answer, I was on a podcast a few months ago, and someone asked me, they said, what can we do in order to get Gen Z to be more conservative, to vote more Republican? And my answer was to encourage them to get married and have kids. If there was a Gen Z listening, saying get married, have kids. And even if they're liberal, they will become more conservative if they get married and they have kids. But Democrats know this. So they try to stop it at all costs. It's very, very scary to see. You can see they've been very effective at it. That's what's so scary about that graph over, in my opinion, a relatively short amount of time, 63 years. I'm going to be alive for 63 more years. So it's scary to see what's going to happen over the next 63 years. Us conservatives, I don't want to just talk about the bad things. There's a solution to this, which I kind of just talked about. What we need to do is become the matchmaker, the Cupids. If you've got friends, nieces, nephews, children, we got to get them married and have kids. It is the purpose of life in terms of happiness, but in terms of politics, Democrats will win if people stop getting married and have kids. Also, we'll just see a complete population collapse, which is obviously something Elon Musk has talked a lot about, and it's true. And if we do that, of course, and we actually have kids and we encourage people of my generation to have them, Democrats will not win an election ever again. I believe that. And I think America will not then fall into shambles. This tax season, don't forget to file your taxes because you can actually make a lot of money. I've partnered with a business that hates the IRS as much as you do, so they fight to get you every dollar back possible. Quick Tax America has already gotten its average tax returner over $3,000 back from the IRS, and they do all federal returns for only $69. It's a completely transparent price because it's their only price, no matter how complicated your taxes are. They also do all the work for you. All you got to do is simply upload your files, answer a few basic questions, and schedule a 15-minute finish your return call with a tax professional so they can ensure they get you every tax credit possible and so you can get that high return. Go check them out at quicktaxamerica.com, or you can go to the link in the description below. There has been a lot of talk about this Love is Blind episode with this couple over the weekend. I'm here to say that I disagree. If you're the first time watching, I'm an adamant conservative. I'm a MAGA Republican. I disagree with a lot of my fellow conservatives on this one. I'm going to play for you the clip of kind of what's gone viral over the weekend, what happened, and then I'll talk about why everyone is wrong about it. Here it is.
I love you so much. But I've always wanted a partner to be on the same wavelength. And so today I can't. I remember, I asked him about, Black Lives Matter, and I'm no expert, but, when I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I never really thought too much about it. That affected me, especially in our own city. How could it not? How did it not make you think about something? I asked him, too, what his church's views are, and he said he didn't know. And so then I watched a sermon online.
From his church?
About, sexual identity.
Okay.
And it was traditional. I told that to Ben. And
his thoughts on it.
He doesn't really have much to say about it, I want him to think about that stuff. Sometimes I did wonder if it was surface, fun, carefree love that we had. Equality, religion, the vaccine.
The vaccine! She's right, by the way. She's right about all of that. I really believe that. And here's the deal. This is what the right is saying right now. The right is saying, oh, it's so sad that she is letting stupid things get in the way of a great potential marriage. She's bringing dumb things up like BLM, the vaccine, as she says, or the other things that they're saying is just, she's an idiot liberal who believes stupid stuff. That's true. All that's true. And I think that's not an illogical take. But here's the deal, guys. And they seem like a nice couple as well. A lot of people are saying that, like, you messed up. This is a good couple. Seem like they're going to create a nice family. People getting married is fantastic. I agree with all that. But listen to the fundamental reason why she doesn't want to marry him. This is what she says. She likes his good looks. She likes his character. And he likes the same things back, by the way. His character she likes, but she doesn't agree with, this is the problem, she does not agree with his values, what he cares about, or his religion. And that is all that matters, folks. All that matters. And so what she says there is totally correct. Do conservatives, this is the question, do conservatives really think that we should go marry atheist Karens? I don't think so. Of course not. Obviously, they don't believe that. A Christian and an atheist should not get married because they don't have the same values. It's two Christians should get married and center their marriage on God. It's going to be a good thing. If you have conflicting values, the marriage is going to go sideways. You know what I'm talking about. No one disagrees with that. There's no question. Everyone knows that intuitively. So in my opinion, I say good on this girl because this girl recognizes that this marriage would not go well. And I think shame on that guy because he's chill. He seems like a good-looking guy. He seems like a nice guy. And he's dating a girl who wants LGBTQ stuff in church and loves BLM. And it sounds like he didn't even know it. And he was going to marry her. So shame on him. She's doing the right thing. Again, a sensible guy like him should not be anywhere near marrying that girl. She's crazy. BLM. It's 2025. Who gives a rip about BLM? If you were in 2020 and you fell for it, you're kind of dumb, but I'll give you a pass. If you're in 2025 and you still love BLM, there's zero pass. There's almost no redemption for you, my friend. And this guy shouldn't be anywhere near that. He should thank her for having the stones to say the obvious, which is, if you don't share the same values, you shouldn't get married. And he didn't do that, and she did. So good on her for doing it. Hey guys, I wanted to let you know about a deal I'm running on Amazon right now. My book, A New Cult, it's up on the bookshelf right there. It's only $9.99. I talk about some of the crazy stuff the left is doing and how they literally act like cults and how their members act like cults. It's fascinating. I tell some good stories about it. I know you'll enjoy it, so go check it out. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, go down below, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and watch another video.